Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. No save and quit, no wrong warp, no out of bounds race between TGH and Bamboo Shadow. TGH has a time of 44, and Bamboo has a time of 54:06. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were expecting a third racer, but he could not make it tonight. So shoutouts to Vlak. We really wish you could be here. Sorry that you're not. But without further dudes. TGH will give us the hand countdown, and we'll count it down for you guys. So we'll be starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, guys.
All right. This is Link's Awakening DX. I'm Zorlak7.
I'm Sikinar.
And I am Cransoon.
So would someone like to explain the category that we're doing today?
Sure, yeah. So this is no save quit, wrong warp, out of bounds. Just three major limitations on the route that we can't exploit saving and quitting to do some fast traveling. We can't do what's out of bounds, which in this context is transitioning screens in places you couldn't normally walk. And then wrong warping is, for example, going through a door and having it send you to like a totally different place that's not intended. But barring those things, pretty much the rest of it is just kind of like do what you can to, beat the game.
Yeah, we're not allowing the biggest glitch, which is saving and quitting. Huge glitch.
It's a glitch.
So both players are going to get Quicksword, but I could have told you that. Can someone explain Quicksword? Because I don't really know the new stuff here.
So basically what both of the runners did just there is they damage boosted into the sword, so they were able to pick it up before the owl came down and began talking to them. It's not a massive time saver, but it does save some time on the animation finishing, like going through text before the owl goes off screen.
What's funny, that trick actually has a modification in the last 7 years, like for the first time, because we did it the same way for 7 years, but that trick has actually changed a little bit. They do damage boosting into the owl. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting the
The tail key?
tail key. Yeah, I ran this game for 3 years. I know what's
all
going
coming
on.
back. Yeah.
Little by little.
I guess since I don't know what's going on, can someone explain what Moblin Boost is and
Yeah, Moblin
rupees?
skips. This forest has like a pretty long little puzzle you have to do, which it is the first major sequence break in the game. We're going to do a cool damage boost across a pit that brings us to the end of the puzzle and lets us get the Dungeon 1 key. You're going to see it after they go through a little cave here. It looks pretty quick. Basically, there's going to be a Moblin, and we're going to manipulate his movement. It's a little RNG depending on what the Moblin's movement will do, so it may take 1 or 2 attempts.
And both players just picked up 50 rupees. That spin that they both did, it's y-axis pixel perfect. So if you step 1 more forward, you're going to fall into the pit. And if you're not close enough, you're not going to get both those crystals. So this is Moblin skip right here. Moblin needs to face up. And
So it looks like
TGH
got a pretty
Nice.
good one. Bamboo not
And
too far
Bamboo
behind,
also
though.
nice.
Yeah,
They're
both
also-
really good starts. Yeah, that's kind of what you want to see.
Yeah.
And both players just got a frame perfect trick called Owl Skip, or I guess it's called Owl Skip. I'm
Yeah.
calling it Owl Skip now.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but basically they saved on the same, like 1 frame after they opened the chest, which allows us to skip that cutscene with the owl. But the big deal is they cannot go back to that screen ever again,
Nope.
or else
And,
the owl will talk to them.
Because of a cool, like even more subtle glitch later on, we don't have to. So
Yeah.
But they might accidentally go back there.
Yeah,
like,
who knows?
Just take a 5-screen detour.
the scenic route, as they say.
And also for context on Moblin Skip, and one of the reasons why it's really good for the race that they got it so quickly, that trick is a huge reset point in PB attempts, and it's not uncommon in races to start 1+ minute behind your PB just because the Moblin decided he didn't feel like facing up
Yeah.
today.
It could take upwards of 10 to 15 attempts on a bad day.
Yeah, so having them this close after Moblin Skip is a really good sign.
Did you notice that both guys got the trendy game first try?
Yeah.
That's-
My God.
I'll clap for that.
Yeah.
So the players are going to be stealing from the shop. They're going to be stealing the shovel and then later on the bow. You go back into the shop, the guy kills you. Your name is Thief. We're going to deal with it. So this is kind of intentional. This is a gameplay mechanic that's part of the run. Dying here is okay. Dying in other places is a lot less okay. They're also buying 2 sets of bombs. They're going to use the save and quit menu to buy these bombs because it's faster than going through the text. They need tons of bombs to do bomb trigger glitches later on. Bamboo tried to buy the shield. I'm going to laugh at him later for that. And they both got the bow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Because the bow costs 980 rupees. That's just too much. The bow does a lot of damage, especially early on. Yeah, that's about it. And we're just going to make our way to Dungeon 1 now. Something POP route, something.
yeah. So on the way there, you're gonna see they're gonna be making some semi-arbitrary kills here on these Octoroks, and what they're doing is they're incrementing a kill count that is gonna manipulate a particular item drop later on in the game that gives them extra speed and damage. So that's all. If you see them kill anything, they're keeping a count the whole time. It's a funny little way. You actually don't have to use the keyhole to open that. You can just clip into the side.
The frames, man.
Yeah.
So this is Dungeon 1. It's super easy. No one makes any mistakes in it.
Nope.
Yeah, that's just all I'm going to say about it.
And it also has the absolute easiest boss because it's the first dungeon, obviously.
Yeah. No one's lost the run to Molten.
No.
So yeah, but for real though, this dungeon, every dungeon has a dungeon item. This one specifically having one of the more broken items, which is cool because right from the get-go we can do some pretty cool little tricks.
Of course, that item being Rock's Feather, which allows you to do something that up until this point had never been seen, well, barring Zelda 2, had never been seen in the Zelda franchise.
It's not like we just saw Zelda
No, we
2.
didn't just see that. It allows you to jump, which in a lot of ways this game is very similar to A Link to the Past in the overhead perspective and a lot of the items, but Rock's Feather puts a much more heavy emphasis on diagonal movement, whereas with Link to the Past, for example, it's all about very quick horizontal movement using the boots. And so you'll notice that anytime the runners move diagonally, they're going to be jumping most of the time.
Also, TGH just did something called a super jump. What he just did, he got to bypass a key block there. It's a byproduct of how you can kind of clip into walls. You can trick the game into thinking you're on top of them and kind of hop off of, which lets you kind of go over a lot of objects you otherwise couldn't.
They're super.
Yeah, they're super, and they are a huge factor in the current route. They allow for the majority of the sequence breaks we do.
So we have boss 1 on TGH's screen. Moldarm takes 4 hits to kill, and he's very difficult. He's going to try to jump over him and hit his tail each time. And they did it.
That was pretty clean.
And Bamboo's going to be entering the fight now.
The thing is that he can clink against you if he decides to not really expose his tail very well.
That was a good fight by Bamboo, too.
Yeah, both really good.
Both players demonstrating top skill in this game.
Yeah.
And they're really close, even at this point in the run. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in this run, especially towards the end. So even if you see one runner 10, 20 seconds ahead, a minute ahead, that nothing is decided until the final boss is dead. So just trust us on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon in PB attempts to have, if you use the graph for your comparison against PB, it's not uncommon to be very far ahead and then just see a huge spike up into being behind your personal best on the very last split because the final boss is so random.
Also, shoutouts to Bubba and Tubbs on TGH's screen.
Yeah, those children have these weirdly large hitboxes. It's common to get snagged on them.
And if you run into an NPC hitbox, you can't really move. So those guys are called Bubba and Tubbs.
And you'll see here, TGH, he's going to make a large amount of his kills on his kill route on the way here just because there's so many free moblins and slimes.
And one of the things about piece of power and kill count routing is you want to kill a certain number of enemies, but you want to do it in a way that doesn't waste time. Obviously, you don't want to have to stop and kill certain enemies. Ooh. So that's why it's very particularly routed in that forest, so that he never really stops moving.
And also, both of them getting really good Moblin caves. I think Bamboo got a triple. I think TGH also got a triple.
He got a double-double.
Oh, he got a double-double. Nice.
But the double-double was really far apart. That's why I said, ooh.
So this is Bow Wow. This little dog guy. He is going to be our companion for the rest of the run. In older routes, we used to return him, but these days it's faster to keep him. For better or worse, he is a strong asset in a lot of respects, and also probably our worst enemy in a lot of others.
Yes. The worst enemy part you will see right here. He's going to try and enter Dungeon 2, TGH will, and Bow Wow will eat the flower blocking the dungeon.
Oh, wow.
That was insanely good
basically
luck.
perfect RNG.
That's what we call an instant eat. That is not very common. Most of the time, he waits a long time before he'll actually eat anything, which is unfortunate.
Bamboo also getting a fairly quick eat there,
Nice.
and TGH just picked up a thing called a Pizza Power.
Pizza power.
Pizza Power. Did someone say pizza? So basically, he's going to move, I think, 25% faster and deal about twice as much damage with an added knockback effect, which is pretty impressive. And he wants to keep that for the majority of this dungeon.
Yeah, you lose your piece of power when you take 3 hits of damage. So not 3 hearts, but 3 hits of damage. Traps don't count. So falling into a pit doesn't count. Spikes don't count. Also, you get to keep it for the duration. It doesn't have a time limit. It just runs out if you exit a dungeon or exit a major area. So they're going to be keeping it for the entire dungeon if they can, and that really speeds up the gameplay. So they're expecting at least 3 POPs, pieces of power, and it saves about, what, 45 seconds, 50 seconds over the course of a run?
Yeah, throughout the whole run, yeah, easily almost 45 seconds. Like what you're seeing, or actually, here's a cool little trick in this room with the ghosts. You can actually just spawn them to leave the screen, and then that effectively kills them.
Yeah, the screen just checks to see if the ghosts are present, and then if they're not there, they'll spawn the chest.
Also, I'm noticing that, POP also increases your item pickup rate.
Shoutouts to item pickup rate.
Which is a key factor when you want to save those frames.
Meaning that picking up pots or rocks is faster.
It's like frames faster
So
per pot.
many, so many frames.
It's so significant that we didn't even notice it until last year.
Yeah. And that's essentially Dungeon 2. You can see both of them making their way. Actually, Bamboo's in a bit of
Bamboo's
trouble
getting
there because you need to kill these
garbage
enemies in a specific order. The bunny being the first one. And you saw the Stolfos just decided to crowd him there and can't really do anything about it at some point. It did cause him to lose his piece of power, though.
That was just trash RNG, but TGH has a cool fight coming up. He's going to wait for the genie to shoot 8 fireballs, and then he's going to wall clip into a wall, so he's just going to move into it a little bit. Throw the the bottle while he's clipped into the wall. That'll break the bottle in one go. He's going to lay a bomb and shoot a bomb arrow directly after, killing him instantaneously. Just like that.
So that's textbook. Exactly how you want that to go.
That fight casually is very annoying because you are supposed to throw the pot against the wall
Yeah.
a total of 3 times, and each time you throw it against the wall, the genie heckles you and says, haha, you can't break my pot. So it's very nice to be able to just break it instantly like that.
Let's see if...
Oh, unfortunately, the genie does do 1 heart of damage, and since Bamboo had that really garbage room where he took a lot of damage, he unfortunately did die on the genie, so he's going to have to do it again. Knowing the backup strat there,
this is a really cool backup that Bamboo's doing. That's really not something you would see except for like high-level play because he just has knowledge of the layout of that dungeon.
Again, nothing is decided until the final boss is dead. TGH is going to be entering Dungeon 3. He's going to be doing something called Villa Skip. So we're going to explain it right now. So Villa Skip is the holes in the game, so potholes or whatever you want to call them. They have a very interesting property that if you pause on the same frame you fall into it, the game kind of thinks you're on solid ground and it moves you down a pixel. So he's going to slash this bush, which has a hole under it, and he's going to pause until he hears the Link falling. It's kind of random. It's kind of luck. Keep on pausing. Not much you can do about this. Each pause takes 2 seconds. So that's the sound
And
he's
there
looking
it was,
for.
yeah.
And allows him to screen transition down into this area, which you're supposed to do a long side quest that takes about 5-7 minutes to do. It's just not worth our time. And he's going to grab the golden leaf there, which is actually the Dungeon 3 key.
Yeah, the reason it's a golden leaf is because the side quest isn't registered to be completed yet. It doesn't like acknowledge that the key should exist until you collect these leaves, and that just kind of messes with the sprite and where it pulls the sprite from.
And Bamboo finishing up Dungeon 2. getting a better fight with the genie.
Yeah, that second fight was pretty much how you want it to go, so that was really good.
So, in addition to Bamboo dying there and losing time in that dungeon itself, he's also his piece of power route is completely different now because your piece of power count sets to 0 if you die, or I mean maybe it doesn't set to 0 or
I
it
believe
does reset. I
resets.
believe, yeah, it sets to 0.
either way it's a lot harder to recalculate what you're gonna do there.
I've been watching him do a lot of practice runs on the fly, and I've noticed he tends to be, you know, as like a high-level player, you can adapt. You can learn where to omit kills, where to add kills to accommodate that kind of thing.
And here TGH is getting the piece of power pretty much in exactly the spot you want it to, and he's about to do a very technical super jump to skip the Dodongo fight. You have to charge your sword and not only perform a super jump, but release your spin slash with a very particular timing to clink off of the Dodongos to go sideways instead of straight up. And the timing on that can be very finicky, and if you're not careful, you can actually get stuck inside the block and soft lock. So that's actually a pretty scary super jump, and we have to perform it twice in this dungeon.
Yeah, for a PB attempt, if you were to soft lock, of course, that's kind of the end of that run in terms of validation. For races, where it's a kind of an unwritten thing, you can save quit out of it, and then you know, backtrack to where you were when you soft locked.
Speaking of, we have a $50 donation from C. Spicer that says, super excited for this race and have been looking forward to it all week. Best of luck to Bamboo and TGH, and here's hoping for a soft lock free race.
There you go. Yeah, it seems like TGH had a really clean D3 overall. This is going to be the boss fight. It's kind of reminiscent of Vitreous from Link to the Past.
Except a lot fewer eyeballs.
Yeah, only 2 this time.
That was a perfect fight.
That was
very clean.
how you want that to happen, yeah. Really smooth.
Bamboo getting trolled more in the early parts of Dungeon 3 with the first room. You have to kill all the enemies, and they move kind of randomly, or they do move randomly.
And
So
from what I can tell, Bamboo, he's going a little more out of his way to farm kills here because he knows where his count's at, and he's going to do everything he can to manipulate it back on track.
the Manipto.
The Manipto.
The Manipto.
And here's a funny thing. If Teach gets this, so that right there is called a bomb trigger. That is a really funny property about this game. If you lay a bomb on a transition, the way the game interprets. Wow. Okay, so Bamboo's back on track. He's got his piece of power right where he needs it to be. That's fantastic. But yeah, so the game freaks out regarding the bomb triggers and overwrites certain properties in the memory and just creates cutscenes arbitrarily. Meaning you don't need certain required items to do a lot of these cutscenes, which skips out a lot of side questing.
And it has a really weird set of things that are set of requirements. You need to be moving vertically, screen transitioning, and laying a bomb at the same time in order for a bomb trigger to work. We're going to be doing that here, skipping the Walrus side quest. So normally you have to get Marin and do some of the trading side quests.
And get the Ocarina.
Ocarina. And we're just going to play the cutscene with bombs.
Because LADX.
Because Link's Awakening.
Because LADX.
It has something to do with the way the game is like, made up of bytes, ones and zeros. You just have to flip certain bytes, and then magic happens.
Oh man, ones and zeros though.
Yeah, ones and zeros.
Ones and zeros.
Riveting. Also, we didn't get walrus sounds, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah,
so
no
this
walrus
run
sounds.
is not blessed, but
Also no feetsies.
no feetsies.
So TGH's menu is actually locked right now, or all of his buttons are locked right now because he's still in the middle of a cutscene technically. So he's gonna enter a cave to get his menu back. Meanwhile, Bamboo is doing Dungeon 3 boss and getting a really good boss too. So that's
that
pretty
was
nice.
also perfect.
Also, there's a tough boss on TGH's screen, Landmo. Takes 2 arrows to kill.
It's dead.
There he
Yeah,
is.
very tough. Very tough.
A quick kill. Once again, arrows are totally broken. He doesn't want to fall in this pit though, so he's gonna mash his boots button there.
Why would you mash the boots button?
You know,
You just hold the button down.
He uses an audio cue to know when to let go in the corner so that he knows he's going to have enough time that he won't fall in the pit.
But I want to know why he'd need to mash his boots. Like
it's
Siki
an
said.
advanced strat you wouldn't understand.
Ah. What's your PB again?
Let's not talk about that.
And Bamboo actually getting the bomb trigger too, so that's pretty cool. How much time does that save? Like 3 seconds?
It's like two or three. Yeah. It's sub-pixel dependent, so.
So they do
subpixels. Subpixels.
Sub-pixel.
subpixels are. We usually just tend to blame anything that goes wrong on subpixels.
Yeah. And for the most part, it's true.
Yeah, actually, like.
Coming up is for TGH. He is going to be.
He's gonna be doing the thing at the place.
He's gonna be doing the thing at the place.
Opening up Dungeon 4
Yeah, that's
with the
it, yeah.
angler key that he just got from the desert.
If he remembers to open up Dungeon 4.
That's true. You don't want to.
You don't want to forget that, especially in a race that may or may not have happened
Then you
to
go
everybody, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot of little pitfalls that are kind of rites of passage when you start running this game. Everyone will forget it at some point, but.
Oh yeah, since Bamboo's doing the Walrus Glitch 2, Walrus Skip, it's also fun to note that if you do it incorrectly and you don't line yourself up perfectly, you can soft lock your game. So I don't really know the strat he's doing right now. It's a little bit different than the one I'm familiar with.
It was
and he
once,
got it either way.
It was once considered less consistent because we didn't really have a good setup for it, but the way Bamboo did it actually turns out to be pretty consistent and actually slightly more optimal by frames. It just really depends on what you're comfortable doing.
But I created the first one, so
You did,
that's
so
all that
it's-
So
matters.
that's obviously the superior.
Oh, and
of
we
course.
have the most important trick coming up. The
Okay.
most important trick
Let's see
of
here.
the entire
Okay.
run on TGH's screen. So keep your eyes glued. Trust me on this. Just
Don't
trust
blink.
me. Silence.
Serious time. And there we go. All right.
We
Obstacle
got
skip.
the obstacle skip.
It's one
One of two.
of two.
So
Will he save those 20 frames? by getting
what,
the second one?
what that is you can jump around the obstacle. It's like a 3-pixel window. If you don't get it, you either fall in the pit or you have to use your boots to break it. LADXers like to hype it up so much because it's a really minor time
It's
save.
like harder than it's even worth, but it's
Yeah,
cool.
it saves, I think, 20 frames, and then if you
Like
fall
20 total, yeah.
and then if you fall in the pit one time, it costs you like 2 seconds. And
Yeah.
since there are only 2 in the run, if you fall in the pit once, then it would have been better to not go for any of them. But everyone goes for it because it's a good trick.
So Dungeon 4 here, it's going to be less conventional than the rest of them, and the reason being...
He's just taking a jump in the
yeah,
water
he's
there.
going for a dip. But we're gonna enter this dungeon twice. We're not gonna beat it right now, and that's because if we do, a flag will set that will trigger a side quest that is really long and forces us to finish it before we can enter new dungeons. So all we need is the dungeon item right now because we just want to swim straight to the next dungeon, and then we're gonna be good for now. Here's the first of 2 times we get to see Cue Ball, the coolest mini boss.
The cutest mini boss.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's
In
pretty
all
good,
my
huh?
years of
That's pretty
commentating this
good.
run, I've never thought of that.
All your years of
All my, yes.
all your year of commentating.
It's plural at this point, probably. I don't know.
And we get the flipper. That's just one flipper.
One
Just a
flipper.
single
One
flipper.
flipper.
Because
You say you kind of do like a mermaid thing underwater.
Yeah, we've
We
determined
figured-
it's actually a mermaid tail. Or
It's
2
all-
stacked
it's
on
all
one
about
another.
right
We
there.
don't know.
So we're just going to leave the dungeon, as Sticky said, and we're going to go straight to Dungeon 5. It's my favorite segment in the entire run because you just walk
it's-
to Dungeon 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a
this
lot of
one.
walking. We're bearing in mind, Bow Wow has been eating things at random this whole time. We can't control it, which does increment the kill count. So sometimes he's
Wait. Obstacle skip, though.
Nice.
Bamboo getting it. So that's
This is top level play right here. You can't
you
see
could
this
have
at
asked
home.
for a better run.
Except if either of the
Nope,
runners
nope,
are
nope,
stream-
nope, nope,
No, okay, nope, cannot see
So-
it.
Don't sell the streams here.
Our third and final routed piece of power drop is going to be Dungeon 5. And yeah, both are hoping that Bow Wow doesn't eat too much on the way there because sometimes he really does. He just eats so much that you get an early piece of power drop. TGH looks like he's good for that though.
And the reason why you really don't want to get an early piece of power for Dungeon 5 is that Dungeon 5 has a lot of walking.
That was the Sticky kill right there.
It was.
And wow,
That-
that room going
Wow.
perfectly.
That was exactly how that is supposed to go. Wow.
But There's a lot of walking in Dungeon 5. For example, in Dungeon 2, Piece of Power saves, I think, 8 seconds overall. And in Dungeon 5, it saves something around
Like
30 seconds.
30 to 35. Yeah.
It's a huge amount of time. It also makes a pretty big sequence break significantly easier later in the dungeon.
And I think this is the easiest dungeon to take damage in as well. So when you learn the Piece of Power route, you also learn to really just fend for yourself and avoid things like these Henoxes, which are RNG where they point and only vulnerable from one side. So really puts you to the test there in that respect.
Helmosaurs, I think, also.
Real quick, we've got a $500 donation from Baduku. Says, stayed up late just for this run. Go Tej.
Go Bamboo too. I heart Bamboo. So both players will be fighting the mini boss of this dungeon 4 times. The first and fourth time you fight him, he takes 3 bombs to kill. Second and third times he takes 2. So each fight has its own setup. It looks like this if you do it correctly. So on TGH's screen.
Yeah, the middle 2 fights are going to look the same. The first one and the last one, he has a little more health, so we kind of changed the strat a little bit, but the concept is the same.
You know you can kill him if you do 99 sword spins on him?
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Really, I actually
knew you
did
could.
not.
So, it's something like that.
I know.
That's the backup strat.
Yeah, so Bamboo making his way into D5.
And I don't know if you guys saw, I did not see a piece of power drop on the way here.
I don't believe I saw it, no.
I believe his POP route should be just about on par. And wow, that room going perfectly for him as well. Piece of power not dropping here, but it's not too bad if it drops in the next room over.
Coming up here is the sequence break Kransun is referring to. TGH is going to be getting the dungeon key here, which typically requires the use of the dungeon item, but using some pretty cool and well-timed long jumps, we can get it first, and it just makes the movement is faster to do it this way. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it seems as though Bamboo successfully routed in his POP for D5. I didn't have a doubt in my mind he'd get back on track.
I think he took 2 hits in that room right there.
Yeah, you can see why Helmosaurs are definitely the probably my personal least favorite enemy in this entire game.
Yeah, they really can complicate things if they don't behave. TGH having his final encounter, I believe, his second to last with them. That was
another really good.
Pretty
move.
much exactly. He looked up, and because Link was looking up when he did the spin slash, they lined up in that respect. So he did have to backtrack to this area, which we're familiar with, because this is where the final Master Salfos fight is.
And if you come in here right at the beginning of the dungeon, it'll just be an empty room. So that's why we don't kill him immediately and get the hook shot.
And yeah, now that he has the hook shot, he's gonna just basically, he's right to the boss. He's gonna finish this up.
Got another generous $250 donation from Horzano that says, really cool to see my favorite runners play my favorite Zelda games. Big good luck to Bamboo and Tej. Wing boys.
We can read it off another.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a $300 donation from Doey that says, I always look forward to AGDQ and SDDQ. First time donator, but found out my work does donation matching. Competitive games are great to watch, but I truly appreciate everything GDQ and the runners who keep doing it year after year do to spend their time for a great cause.
So this is the D5 boss, which is, looks like a wall snake. A little RNG involved here, but if you're careful, you can actually manipulate it in the sense that you can adapt to whatever pattern it gives you, because he can spawn out of any of these four holes.
And ideally, you want to get 2 cycles on this boss.
Tej going for a 5-hit there, which is, you didn't get it, but that doesn't minimize the number of cycles.
Bottom right's one of the hardest positions to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably the hardest one.
Yeah, definitely. It's
still a 3-cycle, really quick 3-cycle. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be making his way out of here. Bamboo not too far behind. You know, he got back on track with a piece of power, so he's been keeping the gap consistent, not really losing any more time.
Yeah, that honestly, I would say, was probably the biggest worry in terms of catching up, was not necessarily even the backtracking in D2, but if he had fallen off POP route, then that would have been, like we said, around 40, 45 seconds that he would have lost just because of that movement speed. So getting back on was really, really good.
Before Dungeon 6, TGH, he's now going to get the Dungeon 6 key, which is kind of more out of the way. It's another like little minor side part of the run. He's going to be going through the Armos Maze, which is a pretty intense portion of the run, just because a lot of really dangerous enemies that can drop his health pretty quick.
And also, one of the more technical boss kills in the run with the Armos Knight. In older routes, we used to just charge our sword and use Feather to jump whenever he would ground pound. In like 100%, it wasn't uncommon to use arrows to kill him, but we found out that there's actually a way to use boots and sword to kill the Armos Knight, and we aptly call it boot strats.
And Bamboo coming up on the Dungeon 5 boss. Let's see if he cooperates here. And yeah, simultaneously TGH arriving at that.
Two boss fights at the same time. What do
This
we watch?
is pretty high octane gameplay.
High
here.
octane. Man.
Yeah. Okay.
TGH getting the bootstraps. Bamboo having a little bit more trouble with the D5 boss. But both players got through it, so I think that's
Very
worth a
nice.
clap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was good on both ends.
The thing that can be scary if you don't get the 2-cycle strat immediately is then you kind of just have to rely on luck and hope that the wall snake spawns on the side of the room that you are on. And there have been runs of mine where I'll just be walking in a circle around the room and I'll have 6, 7, 8 cycles where he's just on the opposite side of the room and there's nothing you can do about it, really.
Yeah, like Zorlak said, that bottom right pattern, it's like ultimately you can adapt to all of them, but some are just a lot harder to.
Yeah.
And coming up,
That was a sick damage boost.
yeah, that was
So
pretty
sick.
tactical boost there. Shout out to the Zorlax pit coming up here. Nice.
Aw,
It's a pretty
man.
tight jump.
I was
so.
hoping someone else in the world would fail that jump.
Not today, Zorlax.
And so here we get to see another property of Bow Wow, and one of the other reasons he saves time. You'll notice that there's usually a cutscene that plays there, but TGH used a bomb arrow to the left when he hit that keyhole, and Bow Wow ate it.
Yep.
So Bow Wow is the most overpowered companion in Zelda history. He eats cutscenes.
And they count for piece of power.
They do. They increment the kill count. It's just the quirk of the way the game interprets cutscenes is it kind of logs them as like a physical sprite. And Dungeon 6 here, also pretty long, but a lot of really cool movement tech. And one of the more complicated dungeons, I think. It endured a reroute pretty recently that shaved off maybe 6 to 7 seconds, I think.
And Bamboo entering bootstrats here as well.
Nice.
Very
that was really
nice.
good.
Very
clean,
nice.
very
Yeah, I think he relies on an audio cue there, which is really impressive to me. It's just a lot of really precise timing.
And there's
These
some
pillars are... They do what they want.
That room is usually not a problem, but when it's a problem, oh man, is it a problem.
It's just that's race luck. We've all been there.
And TGH used a hook shot right next to a pot, or a hook shotable item, so he's invulnerable for this room, or until he uses his hook shot again. So that's why those tiles are going through him. It just gives you a chance to chillax, if you will.
Yeah. Relax.
Chillax.
Got a $5 donation from Choto the Bright that says,
Choto.
shout out to the runners, the couch, and Vlak SR, who's there in spirit. Another big shout out to the rest of the LIDX community. You are all awesome people. And a special message for Bamboo. If you sharpen up and win this race, I will donate again when it's done. Big hugs.
Shoutouts to Chodo.
Yes, Chodo is a great guy.
Chodo himself is a sharpen up. Yeah, I said it. So TGH is doing some pretty complicated D6 movement. Can someone explain how we're exactly breaking this dungeon?
So right now, TGH is using a series of super jumps to pretty much skip basically all of it. We're skipping 2 different mini bosses. We're going back through this area backwards, and we are on our way to the final boss, or to the boss of the dungeon already. One unfortunate side effect of the reroute is we reintroduced more randomness.
Horse heads.
Horse heads. So each one of those.
Great.
Nice. Each one of those horse heads has, I believe, a 50-50 chance of landing upright. Both of them need to land upright in order for you to open the door. And I believe world record is 25 tries on horse heads by our very own Zorlak 7.
Well, my PB's 21
Or
tries.
21. Okay, my apologies.
I don't know if it's world record.
Okay.
It's pretty close, I'd wager.
We also have a very difficult boss kill coming here.
Very
It's
technical boss.
Very technical.
Very hard
So this is
One hit.
Facade. He has a hitbox before he
see.
starts talking.
because, you know, really good programming.
Because LADX.
So he takes 5 bombs to kill.
He's already done 3.
He's already done 3. So there's 1. And really this fight involves just timing your bombs so that you it explodes as soon as he becomes vulnerable.
Yeah, you could try that at home if you want.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's a
simple.
fun little, really easy trick about that boss.
It's
And
also
yeah,
the longest explosion animation of
It's
any boss in
so
the game.
long.
It takes forever.
when you're sitting there waiting to hit your split button and you're just like, come on.
Also triangle hype.
Yeah. Just listen to that tone.
Also, Bamboo has POP in Dungeon 6, so that might save
He
him a
does.
little bit of time.
That's
Yes.
going to give him a bit of an upper hand. It's
Definitely
It's
closing that
possible to
gap for
route that
sure.
in, but it's a lot more fluctuant just because of the way Bow Wow continues to eat stuff.
And getting the bad subpixel on there.
Yet
Did
another.
we ever explain flock clips?
Nah.
Not really.
Nah.
It's a cool little side
Also, I should point out that super jump can soft lock you as well. What
That's
can't
true,
in
but,
LADX really.
luckily both of them getting really good positioning and not having any trouble with it. The route that TGH is doing actually from here on out is actually a pretty contemporary reroute of this game. Up until maybe the middle of 2016, we did the last few dungeons in a different order. And then after just some more observation of movement, overworld movement, we found a different route that saves about 35 seconds from that one, and that's kind of what we go with now. And interestingly enough, it's the first time in a long time that this game has done every dungeon more or less in order. We're like 1 to 8. That's kind of a funny thing.
It's been almost like a decade since.
I
Yeah,
started
since
I
then.
started running this game in 2013, and back then it was already the route it was before.
Yeah.
So TGH is just coming back to Dungeon 4 right now to finish it up. He's going to do another clink off of an enemy using a super jump to skip a room where you have to jump on tiles to open up a staircase. And then, you know, really good game design, just jump right to the final boss of the dungeon. And Anglerfish is really hard.
Yeah, yet another very technical boss. Oh, cool. So Tej going for a little frame saver there.
That's worth a clap.
Very nice.
That was
Actually,
actually really impressive. I think it's a frame perfect spin slash there to get an extra hit right out of the menu instead of using 3 bomb arrows.
yeah, that boss used to be super inconsequential. You just shoot 3 bomb arrows, but if you want to save the 20 frames or 15 frames or whatever
Yep.
it is, you have to do that.
And the
very
funny thing-
difficult spin slash.
Is that this game is loaded with little frame savers, so when you really think about it, these things tend to add up. It's pretty cool.
Even as an example, a subtle thing that the runners have been doing all throughout this run that you might not have noticed is every time they walk into a room where a door closes, they are jumping. And the reason is there's a small amount of lag introduced every single time a door closes where Link stops moving for a few frames. And so by jumping, they are saving a few frames every single time they enter a room. So...
And
Does that help?
Yeah, now coming up here, yet again, the trend of this game is that dungeon keys tend to be distributed kind of away from the dungeon that they belong to. And in this
Well,
case...
it wouldn't be very fun if the key was right in front of the
Oh,
dungeon.
of course. I'm not complaining.
Come on, man. This game is well designed.
And no, it is. It's a fantastic game. But yeah, so for Dungeon 7, which is up next, this dungeon key is hidden behind a really big pit that otherwise is meant to, in a casual playthrough, you need to raise this flying rooster from the dead and have it send you across the pit. But because of a cool frame-perfect trick with the hook shot, we can actually hop over the pit.
But obstacle skip, though.
Oh, okay.
Obstacle
Second
skip.
That was
though.
second
Yes.
obstacle
Yes.
skip.
We're 3 for 3 on obstacle skips. High-level play. High-octane play.
High octane. But yeah, so we call it Rooster Skip regarding the trick to get the D7 key. It's really infamous. It's kind of like a gatekeeper for the second half of the run. If you miss it, you fall down a mountain and lose about 20 seconds. So let's see.
There is a buffered method that ideally is about 8 seconds slower, but I believe both of these runners are going to be going for unbuffered, which is very difficult.
And Bow Wow can actually get in the way.
Very
That was
nice
yeah.
almost
booster skip.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
Yes.
first try and then like a second try. Bow Wow, you can clink your hook shot against him and prevent the hook shot from actually moving, which can usually do like insta falls.
Again, that is double frame perfect. The game runs at 60 frames per second.
Yeah,
So it's no easy task.
it's insanely precise. And now really pleasant scenic journey through a maze-like cave system to get to D7.
Yeah, I guess we have some time for some donations then.
All right, we've got a $100 donation from Comeback 1 Year that says, thanks for everyone involved in doing this. It's one of the highlights of summer. $25 donations from Cynical Love that says, had to stay up for the whole Zelda block for my favorite game, Link's Awakening. Good luck, Bamboo and TGH. The Windfish awaits. $25 donations from Noobles that says, love GDQ and everything you do. Runners, volunteers, tech crew, and just everyone involved, thank you so much. $20 from Squid5 that says, Link's Awakening is the first Zelda game I ever played. Love watching you guys tear through it so fast.
Here's going to be another cutscene ETH.
If we're lucky.
This one's dependent on. Nice.
Wow.
So Bow Wow
It-
ate the cutscene, so he leaves the screen, comes back,
And
and
it's
the tower
open.
turned around.
And that's
So-
like a solid 5-second time save. So.
Dungeon 7 is
Yeah.
probably the most broken dungeon in the game, which is saying something because these dungeons are all very, very broken. But there's
It's
fourth
crazy.
obstacle
4 for
skip.
4 for all.
also
We are
that too,
4
yeah.
for 4 on
That's
that.
it right there.
So casually in Dungeon 7, you have to take this metal ball around all 4 pillars, knock them all down. Bombs are able to just do that also, and all 4 pillars are one screen away from each other, so we can do that very fast.
Yeah, it really trivializes this dungeon. We used to have a route where we still needed to use the ball for 2 of the 4, and then we would bomb trigger the other 2. But
Oh,
nice.
very nice.
Great first try for
Very
both.
nice.
That's fantastic.
That is
In a race with 2 people, that's actually fairly unlikely. So it's
Yeah.
cool to see both of them get that first try.
especially unbuffered. Like,
Yeah.
again, I can't understate that trick is not easy by any means.
So a little bit about why those pillars are broken. Actually, we gotta talk about Goomba surfing.
Yeah, Goomba surfing.
There's
here.
another
Goomba
broken
super.
thing.
Another crazy little.
So these Goombas, the top one needs to move to the right, so Teach can do a super jump, landing on it and jumping over to the ledge over there. Not getting very good RNG here. 1 in 4 chance.
And he needs it to move in front of him.
Yeah, like that.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, cool. That still ended up saving time over the alternate strat.
But yeah, so the reason, a reason why that works, the bomb triggers on the pillars. The game is kind of like you're dropping 2 bombs, you're placing 2 bombs on the screen at the same time. So either by screen transition or by mashing bombs into a pit. And when you do that, the game kind of freaks out and it says, I can't have 2 bombs here, so I need to just like do everything. So it explodes the bomb and it plays out the cutscene in that case. And the cutscene in that case were the pillars. So that's kind of what's going on.
And
And Bamboo getting a really good cutscene eat there too. And
TGH getting a very nice quick kill on the Eagle. So we used to back with the old order, we used to go to Dungeon 8 before Dungeon 7 so that we could get the magic rod, fire rod, what have you.
The fire rod.
Yeah.
And we would use that to quick kill the boss, but it was discovered after the reroute that you can just kill him with 3 bombs, and that also works.
And you'll notice that the different players will offer different ways to perform those bomb triggers. It's really subjective. A lot of these strats will tend to vary by fractions of seconds. So luckily, it tends to be up to preference. And also, just a fun little fact about menuing in this game. The menu slots aren't preset like a lot of other Zelda games. So when you place an item in one slot, you could just move it anywhere. And that causes menu routing, which is really important because you don't want to get lost in your menu. You end up spending, up to like 4 or 5 minutes in the menu alone. So you want to minimize that. And every runner does it a little differently. So it's kind of like a fingerprint.
Also, Marin is in trouble here. Too bad, she's never getting saved.
Yeah, that cutscene's about 40 seconds, so we're not going to watch that.
Yeah, last one I played, this route had, or the route I played for No Save and Quit had about 100 menus. I would say it's probably about the same amount here. So there's 100 different combinations that each runner has to remember for their menuing route. Bamboo going for the Goomba
Nice.
surf.
Not bad.
He's going to try to do
Okay.
a... Nice, okay, cool.
So you can get stuck there, but if you use boots and you're close enough, if you're within 1 or 2 pixels from the edge, then you will just be able to get unstuck using the boots.
Shoutouts to this tunnel here with the fire fountain.
Very difficult trick. I heard it killed another high-level run at a GDQ event recently.
Yes. Oh, that actually ended up...
Shoutouts to POP.
That was actually ended up being a little suboptimal because it forces you to do some menuing to avoid text.
But I think it would guarantee this bomb trigger here.
Yeah, it gives you the automatic good subpixel there too, so that's kind of a funny...
So normally you're supposed to have the ocarina and play the Song of Soul.
Also, what are hitboxes?
Yeah, you can just walk through
Yeah,
that. No big whoop. If you do a bomb trigger there, causes that cutscene to play out. Interestingly, that boss, if you do that bomb trigger there, it has 1 HP. So you could actually kill it really easily. Otherwise, it has like 8 HP if you do the game normally.
Yeah. This is another dungeon that has multiple routes to get to this first half, both kind of equating a little bit in terms of differential.
That pit snuck up on him.
Yeah. I don't know.
Got him.
Random spawn.
Cool trick there also. If you drop a bomb and then within a frame or 2 of dropping that bomb,
7 frames.
7.
we
We
discussed this.
covered this earlier, actually. No, it's
He's
7
sitting here
frames.
telling us it's frame perfect.
Yeah, no, it's actually the hardest trick
TAS
in the game.
only.
TAS
Yeah,
only.
TAS
So if you pause within 7 frames and then switch to arrows and use an arrow, it will change that bomb into a bomb arrow. And that's what TGH did to blow up that wall there.
And my personal favorite mini-boss, Blino here, this kind of mouse-looking guy with boxing gloves. You get to see him in the Oracle games, which is kind of cool.
He's just trying to punch you, and then you just kill him. Like, you just take out your sword and cut him to death.
Yeah, it seems a little
And he
unbalanced.
explodes. I don't know what's going on.
And we use a super jump here to just skip like half the dungeon, having to like go around and flip a crystal switch and all of that stuff.
Like 3 extra screens.
Like 5 extra screens.
5 extra screens. Yeah, you have to sort of think there.
We've got a $250 donation from Zwanzor that says, "It's my brother-in-law's birthday in a couple days. What does he want? Donate some money to a good cause." Well, Jonas, this one's for you. P.S. I heard blue tunic is the best tunic because it protects you against flames.
Speaking of, here we go.
Speaking of,
Yet again,
very
never
nice.
forget the
Deathless this run.
deathless.
They both
How
died
about
to the
that,
shopkeeper.
Drug?
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about Deathless to Flames.
No deaths, plural.
Actually, wait, no, because Bamboo died to Genie. Okay,
Oh.
well, you know what?
Yeah, maybe don't throw stones.
Why
However
would I have
that-
stones in here?
I don't know. Something about it. Some kind of quote. Yeah.
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 Also, the room that TGH is doing right now is another room where a lot of runners just have their own individual kind of strats that they prefer to do to try and get to that chest as quickly as they can. or as close to the chest when it spawns.
So TJ's going to do a very tricky trick here. It's frame perfect, so he's going to pause on the same frame he lands into the lava and then jump out of the lava. That forces him 1 pixel down, which allows him to super jump into this area here. And then here's the flame boss.
The flame boss.
Flame boss.
Hothead.
Flame boss.
That was a 1 cycle, which
Wow.
is really, really nice.
done.
Yeah.
That boss is really RNG dependent. His iframes make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have asked for a better fight. Bamboo not too far behind. He's going to be picking up the fire rod here in 1 second.
Also, most important graphical glitch in the game
Yeah.
on TGH's side.
Good job.
Nice. And yeah, so that he's done. He has all 8 instruments here that he's been collecting, and he's going to go up this mountain to the final boss.
Got a $50 donation from a little bossa that says, I'm going to be super tired at work tomorrow, but it's worth it to watch my favorite speedrunner destroy this game live. Good luck, TGH. We've got a $25 donation from Turtle212 that says, don't give up, Bamboo.
Again, nothing's decided
Yeah,
until the final boss is dead.
The final boss is pretty tricky, so we don't know yet.
And we heard you last year. We heard you last year. People on YouTube, people on Twitch, we will not talk during the the Ballad of the Windfish. We will zip it.
Yeah.
$200 anonymous donation that says, greetings from Germany. I enjoy the marathon as every year, and as every year I miss the best games as I have to work. But I had to donate during my favorite Zelda game. Keep up the good spirit and kill the animals.
There you go.
So now that that cutscene is over, we have a lot to explain really quickly because there is a lot to this final boss.
Oh, you can do it.
All right, well, starting off, we have the maze in the windfish's egg. Usually you have to read a book in a library to tell you the pattern. Ends up, if you never read that book, it is always left, left, up, right, up, left, up by default. So we are going to be doing that. You skip a 5-second cutscene using a bomb trigger coming into this fight.
Yeah, so he's going to be mashing the bomb button here. One final bomb trigger for the road. Nice, he got it.
And then attempting to kill the blob by standing on a particular pixel and swinging his sword on a particular frame.
Yeah, this is-
Oh, it's like a 20 frame window.
It's a little
Well,
RNG,
yeah.
but so you see there, he didn't quite get it, so he's going to have to resort to using powder. Not that much bad. He's actually done damage to the blob here, so it's not that bad. Should only need to, yeah.
And here comes Aghanim.
Also, there's no music in this if you do the bomb trigger in the beginning
Yeah.
of the fight.
Kind of makes it spookier, in my opinion.
Spooky.
Spooky.
So this Aghanim is actually a little bit less forgiving than Link to the Past Aghanim because the first 2 round balls are guaranteed, and then there's a 50-50 chance of blue balls after that, but there is no maximum to the number of blue balls you can get. So I believe
Yeah.
world record is about like 16 or so, and it's 8 seconds of time loss every single time you get one.
So,
So Teach
yeah,
got
that's
one.
one blue ball.
He needs to do 1 more damage to Aghanim. Each one costs 8 seconds. That's 2. Again, this is part of the reason why nothing is decided until the final boss is dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, this thing
exactly.
can sometimes take.
A very long time. And this is the reason why you commonly see those spikes on your graph in PB attempts.
We're going 4. What do you, bets?
I'm gonna
32
say
seconds.
6. Darn.
All right.
So
And
he's going to
Mold
stun
Arm
lock
quick
in
kill
the
here.
mold arm here.
Yeah, it takes a 15 health to do this.
Hashtag right hand mash.
Yes, yeah.
And then he's just going to dash into Ganon here. 8 times?
12.
12.
This part's really straightforward.
Yeah.
The slash is like really powerful with the dash, so.
And the most important form, Landmo.
Yeah, easily the hardest one.
Oh,
You blink and you miss it.
He's going
Interesting
Fire
Fire
Rod.
Rod strats. All right.
Going Fire Rod.
So Deathel, also really RNG. This can fluctuate by a lot. He has to open his eye a certain number of times while you shoot arrows into it. Or use bombs if you're comfortable doing that instead. But,
Takes 16 arrows to kill. You can get 4 arrows per cycle. Deathel just blinking.
That is,
Wow.
wow, this is really good, Deathel. One
Wow.
more and he's done.
This is insane.
What? That is
All 4
actually
quads.
perfect
All
RNG.
4 quads.
Wow.
That's
Nice.
how you do it.
Uh,
So time's coming up on Teach.
when the fade out to white.
Yeah, so Teach is going to enter the stairs, and after he walks off screen and the screen fades to white, it'll be time.
And,
So that's going to be time
that's the Teach.
now.
Time.
And so Bamboo looks like he similarly had to resort to powder there, and he's just kind of working through Aghanim. Let's see how his luck is.
So again, the first 2 are guaranteed.
No, I was trying to get Teach's attention, but he's doing his own thing. Go through the cutscene. Go through the cutscene. Come on, man.
Everyone wants to
It's
see
a
the
nice
credits.
cutscene.
It is a nice cutscene.
So let's see here. So that's 1 blue ball already with Bamboo.
And there's 2.
Nothing you can do about this. It's just RNG.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay.
Needs 1 more hit.
I think this is 4 as well so far.
Classic Aghanim.
Yeah, that's
Classic.
just how it goes. Nice.
There we
Okay,
go.
similar RNG there.
Then he's going to go for the stun luck on Moldorm by doing a spin slash on a specific time. Getting it,
Very
and
nice.
slash his
Nice.
sword. I never counted. I just kind of always slashed it. so
Yeah, you
felt
just
good.
kind of
Just kind of zone out for a
Exactly.
bit.
Like, yeah.
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 Yeah, just to be safe.
Teach said that he normally goes for 30. So slash is when you need 16.
Yeah.
And then we have Deathel.
Yeah, let's see how.
Bamboo not going for Fire Rod strats like Teach.
Yeah, I don't know. I was interested to see how that went.
So, again, nothing you can do. You just you're at his mercy. And
Sometimes you could get no blue balls and then he just won't open his eye, and
the timing for getting all 4 arrows is very specific. So Bamboo was only able to get 3. He just mistimed 1, and he had a jump in the middle of that, so that also makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what are we
managing
at?
2 inputs at once is a
9,
pain.
10 arrows or so far.
Yeah, I think just 9. Sometimes when you're low on arrows, you actually want to play it safe.
Yeah.
And
there-
But yeah, that's it for him as
Deathel.
well. So that was fantastic.
Nice.
And yeah, similarly, white screen.
Time.
And time. Wow, fantastic.
Oh, the camaraderie.
The camaraderie.
Unfortunately, both the runners are not mic'd, so we can't really get them to say their shout-outs. But I'm sure they
well,
could
we
mic
could
him
we
up.
could give them our
Actually-
mics right now.
Well,
so
is that okay?
is that all right with the tech crew?
You
Do
get-
they-
they're in their own world. But I'll give them shout-outs. So shout-outs to both TGH and Bamboo for giving us an excellent race. Some things happened, but still LADX is a difficult game. But they both pulled off some good runs. First try rooster skip, both of them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
really,
Unreal.
really good
good.
fights.
Very, very good.
All 4 obstacle skips.
Yeah. Shout outs to the LADX community. If you want to pick up this game, there's an LADX Discord you can find on the speedrun.com/LADX. Very, very friendly people. I'm not there, so you don't have to deal with me.
Yeah. Don't worry about this guy.
And we actually do have a tournament for this category that's going to be coming up in, I believe, September.
September, yeah.
So if you are interested in picking up the game, there's still another couple of months to learn the route and enter that tournament. So, yeah.
I guess that's all we can say. So again, thank you guys,
Yeah.
TGH Bamboo, for giving us an excellent race, showing this game
GG guys.
what you can do.
Yeah.